What up, YouTube family? Thank you so much for being here with me today. More than YouTube family, soul family. If you're here, you're soul family. You've aligned with this video in some way, shape, or form, vibrationally, emotionally, whether you know it or not. I trust there's going to be something here for you. And today, what we're sharing is a little bit of a theme of self-expression, but mainly I want to talk about really what's been coming through for me, and as like collective messages. We've really been moving through this very like potent time of transformation. Excuse me while I find the correct lighting. This is a new space. I'm in my new studio. My desk, everything's crooked still. We're working out the kinks. Hence why my wisdom rants have not been out for quite some time. I apologize if any of you have been waiting or were looking forward to more of them. They are coming back soon. But right now what feels right to express is just, this like very potent energy of what is like moving through the collective. The word like global on a global scale feels really prominent right now. And so I just wanted to share what's coming through and maybe make this new series of videos also be like a pretty prominent and continuous coming out on my channel. And so let's just dive right in. As I'm sure you are well aware, there has been some deep changes coming through the collective and coming through each of our individual lives. Sometimes this shows up as getting fired. Sometimes it shows up as, having to quit a job that just isn't serving you anymore. Sometimes it shows up as an ending in a relationship, a fight. This is in the tarot world what we call tower moments. The tower moments are the moments where divine intervention comes in and really tears our shit up a little bit, or sometimes tears it down in order to rebuild, or however you want to frame that. And to me, it's really been a tornado. It's been a tornado whirlwind of... The only way I can explain it is through that facial expression. It's been like insane, psychotic, mad, absolutely mad. And so it felt most appropriate to come in and share what really feels like what's going on, and through a lot of messages and things that I've been receiving, just from my direct communication with my guides, or also what I've just seen like patterns happening in the collective and in friendships, family members, and those around me. And so clearly we're going through something, and it really feels like and what's been coming through is that it's like the earth is shifting in frequency. And when the earth shifts in frequency, our bodies then need to calibrate. So it goes earth, then the beings on earth, and so forth. And so if the earth has changed in frequency, that means that we are all in this like recalibration to bring ourselves into alignment with this new vibration. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other things going on with astrology and so much more, right? But I think to really break us down to basics, we are shifting collectively, vibrationally. And that's why if you're feeling like, you just can't hang on to the same job anymore, or you just can't keep going in the same direction that you've been going for the last decade, for the last year, for the last month, whatever it may be for you, that's because right now we're being pushed through, and I don't necessarily want to use that word pushed, but we are being nudged, guided, shoved into alignment. And in order for that to happen, we have to see where we're not in alignment. So I'll just share really quickly and I'll try to keep it brief, how that's been happening in my life for me. And so I moved into a new place at the beginning of this month, started 2 new jobs, quit an old job. I kind of just, I put my business, my YouTube, everything, that all of my creative endeavors, I put it on the back burner, which was really unfortunate because that stuff is what keeps me sane and keeps me really like connected to myself, and that's okay. We ebb and flow and we lose ourselves sometimes. So I respect the journey. And fast forward, 2 weeks into the new house, the new jobs, I got really sick. I forgot, briefly, I'll share. I had a head injury a couple years back, or nearly a couple years back, that I've been in a very slow recovery, but I didn't know that it happened. And so the recovery process only started like 6 months ago. And I forget, you forget. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with a head injury, you lose your capability to be a human, in my experience at least. I basically lived concussed for a long time, and am still. And little did I know that things like going for a night out dancing with my friends could give me whiplash, head banging or whatever. I like drum and bass, and so maybe I just danced myself into a little bit of whiplash, and that reignited, or at least this is how I'm trying to make sense of my experience right now. This might not be fully accurate, but anyway, so I re-amped up my symptoms of my head injury, and I started forgetting things, and I couldn't maintain my new jobs, and I couldn't maintain my life in general, and stimuli was way too much, and things just became so overwhelming. And then I saw myself gripping on to attachments, like, I'm not a heavy drinker by any means, but I'll have a glass of, or a tequila on the rocks before bed. Tequila is my go-to, or was, I should say. It's no longer my go-to. And for about a week I did that, and then something happened where it was just like boom, like, you can't keep doing this isn't working anymore. And so I gripped onto something else, whether that was like vaping. I used to vape. I don't anymore, but I have people around me, so I'm like, ooh, can I use that? Can I have that? Can I try it? And so I was doing that for a little bit, and then it was maybe weed, or and I started attaching to all of my coping mechanisms that I had at one point in my life. And very quickly, my body resisted or reacted in some way, shape, or form that made me have to stop doing that. And so basically I see that as like the message being that my attachments, the things that I've used to cope, and self-soothe, you could say, probably in most inappropriate ways, were no longer serving me, no longer in alignment. And so life was like, nuh-uh, honey, that's not working anymore. Do something else. And so that kept happening with a lot of things. And really, right to the very last moment where I was like, okay, we're just going to self-soothe. Like, let's meditate about it. Let's nap about it. Let's try and find alternative, healthier ways to deal with this. Sometimes you still go to 3 bowls of Cheerios in the middle of the night, and that doesn't work out for you either. Anyways, we're human. We're human, and we're moving through the human experience. And so, that is how I am interpreting from my personal experience what we're moving through collectively, because I not only see that in myself, but I see this in others. And the only reason I share this is because I really hope that it could potentially add value to your life at this time, or just know that you're not alone, because I know how tender and hard things can get during these times. And so I just intentionally bring this space open just to let you know that, like, I'm here. I here with you, and we're walking this very sacred and confusing path together. and and this too shall pass. So if you're still here with me, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to pause. I feel called to maybe just share a little bit deeper into my head injury, and maybe this relates to you in some way, shape, or form. I don't know, but this is just a fluid flowing share of what I feel is happening and how maybe can bring something of value to my audience or to those that maybe stumble across this video at some point. So, yeah, I bunked my head surfing, and the reactivation of my concussion within the last couple weeks or so, I assume, has left me in many positions of, I took on a contract for cleaning. It's one of my side hustles. And every night between, 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. at any point, I can just go clean this space. And it was a really perfect opportunity because I live in a place that is very tourism reliant. And so to have like a consistent contract that is just all year, consistent income, that was really great for me. And as I've been like navigating this month of chaos and kind of turmoil, but also beauty in so many ways, when I moved into my new place and I started all these new jobs, I forgot that I can only handle so much stimuli with my brain injury or concussion. I don't really like calling it a brain injury. I'm still moving through the healing process of it all, tender place. But maybe someone out there can also relate in some way. And if you hit your head, go get it checked, dude, because I hit my head not even that hard, or at least I thought it wasn't that hard. And I was severely concussed. And because that was probably like the third or fourth time I had hit my head that hard, and it wasn't that hard. It was with a surfboard underwater. So, I don't know how, it's a blur at this point. But if you hit your head, go get it checked. If you have symptoms like lights are too bright, you're scared to go outside, you suddenly go from being an extrovert to turning into an introvert, I highly recommend going to get that stuff checked out, or at least looking up your symptoms online. Because I had a lot of symptoms that I thought were just me going through a nesting phase, and it turned out that no, requiring 14 hours of sleep is actually a symptom of post-concussion syndrome, and it's not normal. And I didn't know for about a year and a half or longer, like 18 months. I don't know what a year and a half, that is a year and a half, 22 months. And so, yeah, so important. This is so important. Our brains are so fragile. And I, for a while, was moving through the process of, the grief stages of being angry and being sad and being blaming me, blaming the world, blaming my head. Anyways, resume. Also, this is my first video, not being edited. This is fully organic, just Randy. I'm not cutting any of it out. So weird, quirky, authentic me is just coming through. My loft is getting really hot. I think I turned the heat on too high, but that's okay. We're gonna just be hot. And so I had this contract with cleaning. Excuse me while I reel myself back in. And I forgot to go do a clean. And the next morning, they sent me an email, we're canceling your contract immediately. And that was my first time ever being fired. And when I get a first timer in life, even if it's bad things, like when I hit my head, I got 6 stitches right here, and I tried so desperately to find a way to see it as a beautiful experience. And in that moment, I didn't realize how much I invalidated how scared and how terrified I actually was at that time, and that I really felt close to death. But everybody else around me told me to shake it off, and so that's what I did. I really tried to just shake it off. And in reality, I shouldn't have, because it's an injury that is most likely going to affect me for life. And but there's a gift in that, and so I've decided to see that, but also in that journey, recognizing that I'm allowed to hurt in that process, and I'm allowed to feel the tenderness and all of the above, even if the journey is beautiful in the end, and even if it truly is a gift, I'm allowed to grieve an old life that is never coming back, or a life that I'm no longer capable of living. And excuse me while I move through that tenderness coming through me. And so backtracking, first time being fired, and that moment, it was, I had so many of these brief moments being like, Randy, you need to get to this space, or you need to start looking in this direction, or life was trying to give me nudges, and I clung on to this old way of being. I clung on to the idea of who I used to be, and this very like I could handle everything at once, and I can multitask a million things, and I still very much am like that, but it's slower, and I have to allow myself space to think and regroup. And even throughout this video, how you're watching me trail into thought, and then have to reel myself back in and remember, right? This remembering where I was and what I'm talking about. And so it's really, there really is a gift in it, and I'm starting to see that more clearly, and that's really been a really big message. Really, it's been a really big message of what's been coming through for the collective, I feel, because life is what we make it, and I've had these both horrific and beautiful things happen to me in life that I could cry for eons and share deep gratitude until my fingers fall off and my bones wither away. But we have all the ability to choose how we see this life and how we see our experiences, and through that doesn't mean we're just I'm happy, I'm so grateful I got fired. No, but it means feeling like that day I really felt all the things. I sat on my couch and I cried and I cried and I cried, and I slept and I cried. And I recognized during that wasn't just letting go of that job or moving through the experience of being fired or what people think of me or judgment. There's so many things that go through the mind, but I think what really hit me the most was that I am not going to let this. It was like I had a very clear sight of two directions that could go. I could melt into this sorrow and this pain and this suffering of my pity, and then in that I can reach for external validation and probably go have a drink with my friends, or try and run myself out of this, or I could really allow myself to feel, but then create room for healing and a space for you to go, what is this offering me? Like, why are these situations that continue to show up that are like, this isn't working out. This isn't working out. Stop going this way. And it all relates deeply to my masculine energy. I've always felt very masculinely driven, in the sense that action, purpose, force, push, hustle, pull. We've grown up in this society of grind culture, and so I had that, and maybe this all is connected, as I wholeheartly believe it's all connected. I hit the right side of my brain. I hit my creative, I forget what it's called, but one moment. Yeah, very masculinely driven. And so I recognize that in the process of my healing, in the process of what has been unfolding for me, is really like this attuning into my feminine side and needing to soften and actually maybe pursue things that are a little bit more easygoing and a little bit less of like the hustle and grind. I tried to take on a serving position. I have tons of side hustles. I like to work. I like my work. I like being of service. I like, I like to have a full plate. And I like to make money. So I put a lot of things on my plate, and then now I realize which isn't in alignment with my life anymore and where I'm at, emotionally, physically, energetically. I'm actually not even capable of doing that and being in this grind and this hustle, and even in these workplaces where that is, like being a server in a restaurant and whatnot. So yeah, we get lost. And then we trickle our way back. And so that's what this has been for me. This has been a swinging into the opposite end and reeling myself back in. And I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for these real awful experiences that in the moment I wouldn't have asked for, or I wouldn't have planned that. With this brain and this human body, I know my soul was like, yeah, this is a good idea. But my humanness was like, that's fucked. Don't want it. Keep it out. No, thank you. But now I am connecting to parts of myself that I deeply feel are connected to my feminine energy, that I wasn't able to before. And places where I can now see that, like, I don't just need, my tenderness and my need for softness is not a weakness. It's actually a gift. It's actually a gift, because in a life where I have felt the entire time, I swear to you, the whole time I've been on earth, I've been in a rush. And my life experiences can show you that rush matches, that energy matches my actions, because I have rushed through it all. I've had hundreds, I don't know, maybe that's an exaggeration, but definitely 100 jobs. I've worked in multiple different areas of focus, whether it's detailing cars to serving food to whatever, being a mechanic to being a cleaner, janitor, or a coffee barista. That's what they call them. Yeah, it's been a really, really wide range, but it's all been a speedy, excuse me while I lose myself again. Maybe I won't post this video just because it's my first one. We'll see. Get back to it. Where are you, brain? I love you. You're allowed to be lost. And that's really all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is like allowing myself to do that. Whereas before I'm like, what's wrong with you? The whole fucking time I was like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And now I'm like, you're okay. You're okay. And whatever this is serving you on a much higher level than you can fully understand right now. And I choose to see that because being in the victim being in the victim or the pity or the that is not where I want to live my life. But it wasn't until I got really smoked in the side of the head a couple of times to realize that, life is not working out the way I thought it should, or the way that I think it should, or the way that it used to. And a new path is really unfolding itself. And so maybe this is it. Maybe this is the collective message, is in the depth of my expression in this video. And if you can find a theme, let life rip what is not serving you out, because it wants to bring to you what will serve you. And as soon as we create that space, as I'm doing, making this video, as I've been doing over the last couple days, as soon as, this is beautiful. If you made it to this far in the video, please leave me a comment. Let me know. I'm getting familiar with the algorithm, and maybe this is something that people want to watch. Maybe not. Maybe 27 minutes is way too long. I don't know. But also I recognize this is for me to express and just put my light out there at whatever capacity people want to receive or not. I'm just going to let it be and let the water trickle where it needs to, without the force. And that's really the greatest lesson in what's been coming through lately. It's just like, we don't have to force and push our way through life. If you're feeling like drained and exhausted and like you're just pushing your last limbs that are working through the desert or wherever, the tunnel, the birth canal, the portal, whatever that is for you, it's probably because your Shakti, your energy flow isn't coming in, because it's not going to come in when we're not walking in the right direction. It's like our energy comes and flows when we're walking in alignment with our path to our highest, for the highest, right? If we're walking in the opposite direction, the universe is the life, the whatever you want to call it, God is going to suck all the energy out of that direction. So you stop going that way. And I think that's, I wholeheartedly feel like that is magic. We think magic is bibbidi bobbidi boo. You're a frog. And it's not. It's energy. It's within us. It's happening right now as I'm just really pouring all of this out onto the table and to be shared with the world in whatever capacity that the world wants to receive it. And I don't have to have any expectation of how the world receives it. All I need to know is that this is for me right now. And this is what I need. And maybe that is just the art of expression. Maybe that's just art in general, just to get it out. Stuff that needs out, stuff that needs expression. Like, what is that saying? I heard maybe Brene Brown said it once in one of her podcasts I used to listen to. Unused creativity is benign. And that it is. And so this is a creative expression that I really, really hope so dearly will bring service and value to your life or to somebody else's life. And I'm going to sweat it. I'm going to keep sweating this. If you bumped your head, please Excuse me while I bite my lip. If you bumped your head, go get that shit checked out, because I bumped my head a lot growing up, and I didn't tell anybody about it, but I did, because I was an irresponsible teenager using a lot of intoxicants. And bunking your head can fuck you up. It really can. So much so that you think there is another you living inside your brain that's just out to get you. Like a bully that's just there to fuck your whole life up. And mid-conversation with somebody, that little part of your brain, it's called the interference network, interference network, something interference network. While I'm having a conversation with a human being, it'll just be like, don't say that. You should probably walk away now. And it just starts interfering with my conversation. And so it's like, the closest way to explain it is like being on stage without a script. And everything else goes blank, and you don't know how to interact humanly with another human. And you turn into a scared little gerbil, and you crawl back in your hole. And so that's what I did for almost 2 years. So if you hit your head, go get it checked. Now I'm just rambling, but thank you so much if you're still here. I love you. I love you. I want you to know how loved you are and how supported you are on this journey, and that, whatever it is that you're moving through, I have your back energetically, emotionally. If you want to reach out, send me an email. My inbox is open. And sometimes it's just nice to chat about the shit that you're going through with somebody that doesn't know you, and there's no strings attached, and you don't even have to ever talk to me again. You can just use my inbox as a space for you to just let it out and express whatever is hiding inside of you, whatever little stuff that is hanging out at the back of your brain that you just, needs to be heard and seen and said, maybe. I create the space for you. So let my email be that space if you feel so called. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I love you guys. I hope you have a great Canada Day, or whatever holiday is coming up right now. It's Canada Day. Maybe this video will find you before your birthday. So happy birthday. Maybe it's on New Year's. Happy New Year's. I love you whenever it finds you. I hope it served you. And till next time, be blessed.